a couple of guys have hit the transfer portal on Deion Sanders. Are you aware of this, Steve?
Really? Who?
That
Already?
he lost a couple of five-star media members. Colin Cowherd and Joel Klatt have hit the transfer portal on Deion Sanders. Yeah, they've jumped off the bandwagon. Let's play Cowherd, who had been a big Deion fan and sub-tweeted, sub-criticized me. It wasn't over Twitter. It was on his show last year about Deion Sanders. But let's listen to Cowherd now as he talks about CU and Coach Prime.
It's time for a new fake ID of college football. You know, somebody that is new on campus, talking a big game, little thirsty, and not of legal age, kind of a poser. And I think it's Colorado. Deion Sanders is the new fake ID of college football. I'm sorry. A lot of talk, a lot of hat, no cattle. I mean, at least Iowa could hold their liquor. These guys are vomiting on themselves after a margarita. It's bad. They've lost 7 straight games to FBS teams. Worst run offense in America. Can't defend the run, can't play defense, tackle poorly. I mean, at least Iowa wore a collared shirt and sort of played the part. Well, maybe they can match up with Michigan. Man, Colorado can't even compete. They have the worst rushing offense in college football, and nobody talks more trash. A lot of stories about what they're playing over the loudspeakers. I don't care about those, but it feels like they're one big campaign to get Shedeur Sanders the Heisman or the number 1 pick. It's just a timeshare sales pitch, and I'm over it.
So that's Colin Cowherd jumping ship. You could have heard all of that commentary right here on this show a year ago, but I guess better late than never. Your thoughts, Steve?
First of all, I want to stick up for the fine people of Iowa and the Hawkeyes program. Yeah, I get it. Their offense is bad. They couldn't score if they're the only team on the field. They play in the Big Ten. Okay, that's a real conference, and they generally win 9 to 10 games. A little respect for Iowa. I get what Mr. Cowherd is saying about Colorado being the fake ID. Aren't they really like the near beer, the non-alcoholic beer? Remember O'Doul's? I never understood non-alcoholic beer. Folks, I don't drink beer for the taste. Neither should you. I am kind of stunned by this because think about it, Jason. There was a lot of buzz from certain media members that are very influential. And I would certainly say that Colin was much more favorable to Coach Sanders than you. You're telling me 2 games in of a 12-game regular season, you're just completely abandoning ship. Someone is telling him something because you know he's a plugged-in guy. He talks to people. There's colleagues of theirs. Wow. Abandon ship. This is like going on the Titanic. You don't even wait for the iceberg. It's not even in your sight. You're literally just going offshore and you're like, lifeboat, let me out. Wow.
Steve, let me give you a clue because you're right. Colin Cowherd is plugged in and he doesn't jump ship without someone giving him inside information. And it's like when you think about getting the transfer portal, if you're a wide receiver and your star quarterback goes in the transfer portal and you look around and the backup's no good, the star wide receiver says, I'm going to follow my quarterback into the transfer portal. That's what happened here. Joel Klatt, the former Colorado quarterback, the voice of college football for Fox Sports, he had hit the transfer portal on Colorado as well, so we shouldn't be surprised that Cowherd is in the portal. Let's start with, I want to start with Joel talking about Colorado's offense and their offensive line. I want to start there. Colorado's offense and offensive line. I believe this is shot number 6. Play that.
There's so many different things that an offense can do in order to put the defense in conflict or single defenders in conflict. And I just don't feel like Colorado does that. It's very static. It's very uninspired. There's very little creativity in the run game. And all of that winds up putting your quarterback on a tee. It's too difficult. Everyone knows what protections are coming. It's either a 5-man or a 6-man protection with the back either inserting in the A gap, taking the Mike linebacker, or off the edge. So like these protections aren't fooling anybody. There's no run action pass. There's no play action pass. There's no half rolls in the pocket. There's no full rolls. There's no getting the quarterback totally outside of the pocket. There's no easy throws. Colorado's offense has to change, and it's got to become more inspired, or else what's happening, a static offense that puts a quarterback on a tee, is totally unsustainable. And I think that they know that.
Man overboard. Man overboard. When you think Lyndon Johnson was upset when he lost Walter Cronkite, Deion Sanders has lost Joel Klatt. Whew. I love Joel Klatt. You guys know it. He's been on this show. I love Colin Cowherd. I don't understand why these guys didn't hit the transfer portal with me before the start of last season. When the guy came in on day one and started talking about I'm bringing Louis and you guys get out of here, that's when you should have hit the transfer portal. But again, I'm glad they're here. They can come join me in reality now. I love these guys, but I just got to point it out. Joel Klatt started this season, and I'm telling you, I love Joel Klatt. The guy, he's a believer. He's a good person. He's one of the best I put him right there with Kirk Herbstreit. But he in some ways, I got to give him a break because he's a Colorado alum. Yeah. He's got to hop on board with Deion. But here he is at the start of the season talking about Colorado, a potential Big 12 dark horse, and could win 8 or 9 games. Let's play SOT 12.
And then I've got these 2 dark horses. Colorado's a dark horse for this thing. I would be insane to not put Colorado in there as a dark horse for the Big 12. They're really talented. They might have the best quarterback in the entire league, and their skill position players are insanely talented. This is a team that went from 1 win to 4, where it's really threw away a couple of other wins. Should have been a bowl team last year, and everyone's like, well, can they go to a bowl? Can they go to a bowl? What are you talking about? Like, this team, I think, is an 8 or 9 win team, which puts them in the conversation in a deep quality league for a potential bid to the Big 12 championship game. If they keep Shedeur Sanders upright and he can throw to some of these talented players on the outside like Travis Hunter, watch out. Colorado's going to win a lot of games. A lot of games. They've got a difficult stretch early. North Dakota State, they play early. Nebraska, they play early. If they win both of those games, then watch out, because guess what? It's going to be 2023 all over again. That hype train is going to be barreling down the rails, and I might be driving it.
Not doing this to embarrass Joel Klatt. Because I've been there as a prognosticator. No, I'm not. Because I've been there as a prognosticator. People in Kansas City still remember the 1998 season. I spent the entire offseason saying they were going 16-0. The entire offseason. 16-0. They lost week 1. The season went so terribly, Marty Schottenheimer got fired at the end of it. I think they finished 7-9. So I've been there as a prognosticator, just dead wrong. I'm pointing this out to say, do you know how bad things have to be at Colorado if Joel Klatt and Colin Cowherd have both jumped ship? And Joel Klatt, we'll play this final one because it's a point that you've been making to me privately, is that this week, Colorado State, Saturday night, a must-win game for the Buffaloes. Here's Joel Klatt's, I believe it's SOT number 5.
Well, this is the biggest game that they've played in his tenure, because they cannot lose this game. They have to win this game against Colorado State. If they lose this game, it's a signal of regression. You can't do that. You can't regress in year 2. That's not what this is all about.
That's right.
And you can't regress when you've got 2 players that might be picked in the top 10. One for sure going to be selected in the top 5, and Travis Hunter. That can't happen. So this game, there has never been more pressure on Deion Sanders as a coach in his career than there is this week against Colorado State on Saturday night.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it now.
Your thoughts on all of this?
Couple of things here. I am a fan of Joel Klatt. In fact, when I depart for Las Vegas soon, I have a few of his shows from this week punched up on my YouTube app. I'll be listening to him as I take the 60 to the 15, all the way to the 702. I have great respect for him. But I think that there was some pressure on him as a Colorado alum. And if I'm not mistaken, he was part of the process that brought Deion to Boulder. So I think he had to support him. But he's a football guy. When he called him a dark horse for this year, and I remember watching that clip, I was stunned, Jason, because that horse, it wasn't Secretariat. It was Mr. Ed. A lot of mouth. And you look at some of these other prognosticators that are now jumping. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson. I saw one couple weeks ago when he was with R.J. Young, and he said, call me crazy. And I said, yeah, they're going to win the Big 12. And I just said, take away his damn mic. There was like, it's almost like this cultural pressure to support Deion to a point where you had to say things as former football players that know the game that you knew were incorrect, that were not true. And I'm looking at this schedule, guys, the Big 12, it is not the SEC. Let me get that. It's not even the Big 10. But it's a solid football conference that has a lot of teams that are difficult. And if you look at this game, Jason, if you do not beat Colorado State, the only two games that I think that they're going to be favored in, and this is just an assumption for now, is Baylor and Cincinnati. Those are the only two games I'm kind of looking at saying, okay, they'll probably be favored in those games. And they have a lot of tough road games.
Central Florida, no?
No, Central Florida has Gus Malzahn and KJ Jefferson starting to get into his groove. And that's a road game. Jason, the one thing about Colorado with the way they act and their whole persona, every road game is being treated like a Super Bowl by that home team. That is the blessing and curse of being Coach Prime. You've brought incredible intention and focus to your program, but you know what you've also done? You've made them a target. And it's great to be a target if you're Alabama, Georgia, or Ohio State. It ain't so good when you're Colorado. But I will say this, there's still good news. Mac McChesney's still on the bandwagon. So we're good there, Jason. We're good there. He'll never come on your show or our show, but he's still on the bandwagon for now. For now. Matt, don't kill me. Just a joke.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.